Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juce, and today I'm talking about the controversial topic of the brand new Paizo Agents of Edgewatch adventure path. In this video, we're going to read the statement by Erik Mona himself. So let's get started. Agents of Edgewatch update. So this was done Monday, June 22nd. I'm trying to record this on the 27th. I'm going to read this, and then afterwards I might share some of my own thoughts on it. I'm not sure. I'm not one to shy away from controversial topics and share my opinions. But I think this is an interesting thing that obviously coincides with what's going on in our real world. And, it's been a little bit controversial on Twitter and things like that. So, let's just get into it. We at Paizo strive to represent our company's values of inclusivity through the content of our Pathfinder and Starfinder publications, showcasing diversity in the stories of the cultures, races, sexualities, and gender identities of our characters is something we've tried to emphasize since the company's inception 18 years ago. As we wrote in our public statement earlier this month about the Black Lives Matter movement, it's an ongoing and vital process. The murder of George Floyd by police and the resulting political actions increased visibility around issues of police brutality, and ongoing conversation about the role of policing in our society casts a difficult light upon Agents of Edgewatch, our upcoming Pathfinder adventure path in which players take on the roles of members of the City Watch in a vast fantasy metropolis. As Paizo's publisher, I want to take this opportunity to address the situation directly. When we began work early last year on Agents of Edgewatch, we conceived of the adventures as a pseudo-Victorian crime drama in which a party of Sherlock Holmeses would bring a cult of sinister murderers to justice against the backdrop of a World's Fair-style celebration in Absalom, the huge city at the center of the Pathfinder world. Along the way, we dabble in some buddy cop movie tropes and use the player's role as new and idealistic town guards as a framing device for a tour of the city as they attempt to thwart the evil cult's machinations. In our heads, this was a classic detective story, not a chance for players to act out power fantasies of being militarized police officers oppressing citizens. As publisher, I was confident that we could steer well clear of egregious parallels to modern police violence and handle the material responsibly. But there's more to it than that. What I hadn't realized, no doubt a result of my own privilege, is that the very concept of police, the idea of in fact taking on the role of police, makes some members of the Paizo community deeply uncomfortable, no matter how deftly we might try to pull off the execution. While I remain proud of the work we as a team have put into the Agents of Edgewatch campaign, and I believe that our writers, developers, and editors have ensured that the subject matter has been handled responsibly, I also believe that if we were making the decision about adventure path themes today, we would have chosen to go forward with a different idea, or a different take on a similar detective story theme. For many of us here at Paizo, our understanding has evolved, not just of the horrible impact of police violence, but how some members of our community, especially those who are also members of the Black community, have not had the luxury of ignoring it. To that end, I should acknowledge that some members of our staff did raise concerns about the campaign's theme early on. In retrospect, I did not give these concerns the full audience that they deserved. And that's part of the learning process too. I remain confident in our ability to create a campaign that lives up to our editorial and moral standards, even while acknowledging that we should have chosen a different approach for this adventure path. The events of the Agents of Edgewatch campaign assume empathic, heroic player characters who are there to serve their community. Groups who wish to play the campaign without taking on the role of city guards will be able to remove the law enforcement element from the story without much work, instead telling the heroic tale of a band of local adventurers who take it upon themselves to rid the city of murderers, and evil cultists. The Free Agents of Edgewatch Player's Guide, scheduled for release next week, will offer several suggestions on how to do this, as well as tips on how to utilize and adapt Pathfinder's non-combat conflict resolution mechanics, as well as non-lethal combat rules when running the campaign. I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of our editing team, who have been exemplary in helping us to eliminate unintentionally problematic elements, consult with sensitivity readers, and ensure that products come with detailed content warnings. The developers have likewise been striving to be more sensitive to these concerns. I hope that Agents of Edgewatch as a whole will display our ability to listen and present the subject matter respectfully. We will continue to strive to improve our sensitivity and ensure our adventure and plot elements remain firmly in the realm of fantasy. While we can't afford to cancel or delay the adventure path, we want to show our commitment to remedying our earlier choices through action. As we stated in a previous blog, we've contributed the Starfinder core rulebook to Humble Bundle's Fight for Racial Justice charity fundraising campaign, which has already raised more than $3,700,000 for the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Race Forward, and the Bail Project. Furthermore, Paizo will donate a portion of proceeds from all volumes of the Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path sold through the end of 2021 to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Lastly, next month we'll announce another major fundraising effort focused squarely on Paizo's products, with charity proceeds to benefit Black-oriented charities. We hope you will join us in these efforts. We remain committed to the ideals of inclusivity and racial justice. We will continue to listen and will strive to do better in the future. Erik Mona, publisher. I think it's good that they are going to donate a lot of money to the NAACP Defense Fund and the Bail Project and those things. I think that's a nice step. Hopefully they don't make this mistake again. Hopefully they stick to what they're good at. They're great at making adventure paths. I think it would have been better, if they would have, listened to their staffers early on in the process. Unfortunately, they didn't do that. They admitted their faults. I think they're being very transparent with those things. So that is a good thing. I feel like I can, support Paizo by buying products thanks to that. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very curious what this adventure path is going to have in it. I'm tempted to check it out to see about how tone deaf it really is. I'm tempted to review the product and, read it, review it, and give my honest opinion on it. But I'm also not the people that tend to deal with, issues with police and things like that. So, I'd be curious to hear what they think after it's released, and, here's some minority perspectives on it. But I don't know. What do you think in the comments below? Do you think that this is a good statement? Do you think it's shedding some light on things? Obviously it doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't solve the problem, but they're trying to remedy it in as best a way as possible, I think. What could they do more? I mean, I've talked to friends who said, oh, they should just cancel this and, hire a third-party company to sell the rights to something they're about to release. And I don't think you want to do that. So, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And, yeah. This was Master the Game. I am Juce. Game on.